Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today, well, it's tackling something I think we all struggle with, that gap, the one between feeling inspired, having a great idea or belief, and then actually making it happen day to day. We're digging into the architecture of behavior. And our guide for this is the work of Reuben Juma Onunga. Now, what's really interesting is he's not primarily a philosopher. He's a civil and water engineer from Kenya. His work is all about building systems that actually work in the real-world infrastructure, sanitation, things that have to stand up to, well, reality. He applies that same thinking to these timeless principles, turning, as he puts it, bright ideas into field tools.
Yeah, field tools, not just shelf ideas.
Exactly. We're after the stuff that works on a tough Monday morning, not just, in theory.
And that engineering mindset, it frames everything, doesn't it? For you listening, we know you're looking for the mechanics, the actual how-to, not just warm fuzzies. The author saw that people often have plenty of hope, but they lack a system, a robust system to carry that hope through a difficult project or just a hard week.
Right. So our job here is to extract that system, the architecture of applied positive power, you could say. And he boiled it down, distilled it into something really memorable, an operating system, basically. The core of it all, he calls it the 5 gears.
5 gears, okay.
Yeah. And it's simple enough you can actually remember it when things get tough, but it's strong enough to carry, serious weight. Professional goals, personal changes, the big stuff.
And the sequence is key, right? You can't skip steps. The gears are believe, visualize, speak, act, review.
That's it.
And the rule is if one gear slips, the whole thing grinds to a halt. But when they're all engaged, momentum, it starts to feel almost natural.
It becomes self-sustaining, yeah.
Okay, let's break that down. Let's start with those first 2 gears, how they lay the foundation. So believe. The source material is really clear here. This isn't just passive fantasy, is it? He calls it an evidence-gathering posture.
Right. It's active. Think about the productive minority he mentions. They don't sit around waiting for absolute proof before they commit.
No, they commit first, they believe first, and then their actions become the way they gather the proof. It's an act of faith that actually puts you into motion.
I like that. Evidence-gathering posture. It's proactive.
Exactly. And what's crucial here is that belief immediately needs to translate into the second gear, which is visualize.
Okay.
So if belief is the seed, visualization is, well, it's the blueprint. Onunga, the engineer, right. He stresses you're literally engineering your inner life. This isn't just fuzzy daydreaming.
Not just wishing.
No. The visualization, it has to contain evidence, something a stranger could verify.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so if you're visualizing getting out of debt, you don't just picture yourself feeling happy and relieved.
Right.
You picture, say, a bank statement dated, I don't know, December 31st, showing a 0 balance. Or maybe the actual document confirming your mortgage is paid off. The mental picture has to be sharp, precise enough to guide the actual building process.
That precision makes a huge difference. It cuts through vague optimism. But, okay, say you have that sharp snapshot, the zeroed-out statement, the document. What stops you getting stuck there? Just analyzing. How do you actually turn that mental picture into, steps?
Good question. You immediately reverse engineer the path. So that clear vision, it becomes a practical, maybe 1-page blueprint.
Okay.
And on it, you list specific non-negotiable things. Actual dates, estimated costs, skills you might need to acquire, allies you need to enlist, potential constraints. You map it out. And here's where his engineering side really kicks in. Run a quick pre-mortem.
Pre-mortem. So thinking about failure before you start.
Kind of. You imagine the project failed, say, 6 months down the line. Ask yourself seriously, okay, it failed because... and then list the top 3 most likely reasons. By confronting those potential failure points up front, before they happen, you're not being negative. You're replacing blind optimism with, responsible strategic planning.
Okay.
You build in flexibility.
But wait a second. Couldn't that pre-mortem thing backfire? Couldn't it just give you permission to worry more, fueling the exact anxiety we're trying to get rid of? How do you make sure it's preparation, not, paralysis?
Great point. It works because that preparation flows immediately into the 3rd gear, speak.
Okay.
This is like the reinforcing steel in your concrete blueprint. See, worry tends to be verbose, dramatic, right? Oh, no, this is terrible. It'll never work.
Yeah, the catastrophizing loop.
Exactly. But useful speech, the kind this gear focuses on, is short, precise. It's about actively training your inner dialogue. Language becomes an instruction manual, not a complaint hotline. You find or create these clear, repeatable cue lines, phrases that interrupt the unhelpful thoughts. Think like an athlete's mantra almost.
Like focus. Or,
Yeah, or prepare thoroughly, or slow is smooth, smooth is fast, or just follow through. You use these sentences right at the threshold of taking action. It trains your nervous system to respond constructively, not just react emotionally.
okay, I get it. So the inner talk gets stabilized, disciplined. Then we hit the really crucial fourth gear, act. The poured slab, he calls
Yeah,
it.
the foundation.
And this is about focusing relentlessly on small wins, right? Things that compound.
Exactly. It's not about grand, heroic gestures every day. The sources emphasize establishing rhythms. Maybe it's just one slightly courageous conversation per week, or practicing one new skill for an hour each quarter. Small, repeatable actions.
But the big tool here seems to be the action block.
Oh, absolutely critical.
A protected 60 to 90-minute block every weekday, just for the most important task. 90 minutes feels like a lot to protect every single day.
Why is that block so non-negotiable?
Because protecting that block sends a massive psychological signal to yourself, mostly it says.
Yeah.
This project, this goal is more important than the constant stream of urgent, but maybe less important demands.
Right. The emails, the notifications, all of it. It establishes real, irreversible progress. The second we let, meeting prep or email creep into that 90 minutes, we're basically training our brain that our own deep work priorities are negotiable. They're flexible.
And that kills momentum.
Instantly. The non-negotiability protects your energy, protects the momentum.
Yeah.
That's how you get that solid poured slab of progress over time.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've acted, we've protected the time. Now we need the feedback loop, right?
Huh.
Which brings us to the final gear, review, the site inspection.
Precisely. And review, this is where humility and hope kind of meet. You look back at the day, but without drama. No beating yourself up.
Okay.
You just document, say, 3 gains. And they can be small. Cleaning your desk counts if that was needed. 3 gains and 1 lesson. What did I learn today?
3 gains, 1 lesson.
Yep. Then, based on that quick review, you set tomorrow's big 3, the top 3 tasks. This little ritual, done consistently, turns daily activity into actual usable data. It makes your progress visible, tangible, and that feeds right back into strengthening Gear 1 belief for the next day.
It closes the loop. Okay, so we have this seemingly perfect 5-gear machine. But let's be real. Even perfect systems hit bumps. They come under stress.
Always.
So let's look at the author's advice for handling resistance. Starting with, arguably, the biggest energy leak for most of us.
Worry.
Worry.
Onunga has this great line. Worry is just imagination pointed in the wrong direction.
It's so true, isn't it? And connecting back to the gears, worry just sucks away the energy you desperately need for Gear 4, for ACT.
Right.
So he gives us a clear process to convert worry into work. He calls it worry to work. First step, ruthlessly separate the signals from the stories.
Signals versus stories. Explain that.
Okay, signals are the cold, hard facts. Cash reserves are low. The client moved the deadline up a week. Just the facts. Stories are the drama we weave around those facts. We're finished. I'm going to be exposed. This is completely impossible. You have to identify those stories and just discard them, because only the signals, the facts, are actually actionable. That sounds simple when you say it, but when you're in that worry spiral, the story feels incredibly real.
Wow.
Like 100% true.
Oh, absolutely. It takes practice.
So what's the concrete tool? How do you actually stop the panic in the moment?
He offers a very practical 3-step sequence. Fear, facts, first action.
Okay. Fear, facts, first action.
Yeah. Step 1, write down the exact fear, the most specific, dramatic sentence you can come up with. Get it out of your head and onto paper.
Okay.
Step 2, answer that fear soberly with only verifiable facts, just the data, no opinions, no drama.
Right.
Step 3, choose one single small first action you can take related to the facts and do it before the hour turns.
Before the hour turns. I love that urgency.
Yeah, it forces you out of rumination and into immediate, even tiny application. That first small step breaks the cycle.
That's powerful.
It really is. And to help conserve energy for those actions, he introduces the control, influence, accept map.
Control, influence, accept.
Okay. You have to get clear on what you actually control. Usually your effort, your attitude, how you spend your time. Then what you can influence may be other people's opinions, market trends, project outcomes to some degree. And finally, what you simply have to accept. Past mistakes, the weather, other people's core decisions.
Got it.
You actively steward what you control. You engage wisely with what you can influence. And you stop arguing with what you must accept. Because arguing with reality, that's probably the single biggest drain on personal energy and power there is.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Stop fighting battles you can't win.
Yeah.
And all of this, the worry management, the action, it's fueled by our inner dialogue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which often keeps that worry cycle going.
Constantly.
The source material talks about the first draft of our self-talk, the stuff written by old experiences, insecurities, maybe old hurts.
Yeah. The default programming.
We have to consciously create an edited version, right?
Precisely. And the sign of good edited self-talk, it's often quiet, it's plain, like a pilot running through a checklist. Altitude set. Flaps deployed.
Not loud affirmation.
Not necessarily. It's more about precision, dissolving the drama. He suggests that for those really stubborn negative loops, you know, the ones we all have, write the negative sentence down. Then prepare 3 short, maybe even slightly boring factual truths to counter it. Replace the emotional noise with specific, useful instructions. Quiet confidence.
Quiet confidence. I like that. Okay, let's pivot slightly. Let's talk about the supporting pillars, the long game stuff. Onunga is crystal clear about energy. He says, positive thinking does not work in a tired body.
Amen to that. You just cannot outthink exhaustion. It doesn't work.
So how do we manage energy?
Again, the engineering mindset. Energy management isn't fluffy. It's framed as a core leadership decision. First, sleep is leadership.
Sleep is leadership, okay.
That means consistency, a regular bedtime, and critically, using paper to close open loops before bed. Write down the worries, the to-dos for tomorrow. Get them out of your head so they don't spin all night.
The brain dump.
Exactly. Then, morning is architecture, designing the start of your day, simple things. Get some sunlight. Move your body before you dive into screens and emails. Set the tone. And he puts huge emphasis on Sabbath, or at least some kind of dedicated weekly rest, not as a luxury, not as nice to have,
But as
a proactive protest, or a protest against a world and often our own inner drive that never wants to stop. This weekly pause needs to intentionally change the texture of your life for that day. Slower meals, maybe slower judgments, definitely a slower pace to truly replenish the deep energy needed for the other 6 days.
that idea of stewarding energy connects directly into people power, doesn't it? Relationships.
Absolutely. How we interact with others drains or builds our energy.
And the core posture he advises here is honor first. What does that mean practically?
It means entering interactions, especially potentially difficult ones, with the baseline assumption that people are carrying burdens you probably can't see. Practically, it often translates to simple behavioral tweaks, like consciously slowing down your speaking speed by just half a beat. Just enough time for genuine care or thoughtful consideration to catch up with your quick intelligence. Less reactivity.
Honor first. Slowing down the mouth. They can see how that changes things. And when giving feedback or encouragement.
Be specific. He argues that the nervous system remembers precise praise. Vague stuff like, good job just doesn't land the same way.
So instead of good job,
You say what specifically worked well, the way you structured those 4 bullet points in the summary, and what positive results it produced made it incredibly easy for the client to grasp the core issue and say yes immediately. That precision reinforces the exact behavior you want to see again.
that makes sense. Specificity sticks.
It does, and underpinning all this, the honor, the careful communication, is the discipline of boundaries.
Boundaries.
Huh.
Often feels like a difficult topic.
It can be, but he frames it really constructively. A boundary isn't a wall to keep people out defensively.
Yeah.
Think of it more like a fence with a gate and a latch you control.
Okay, a fence with a gate I control.
Right. Boundaries are presented as essential stewardship, not selfishness. They protect your most valuable, non-renewable resource, your time and energy which you need to deliver your best work, your best yes to the things that truly matter.
Protecting the yes.
Exactly. And maybe the ultimate energy release technique he discusses is forgiveness.
Okay. How does he frame that?
Primarily as freeing your own energy from being consumed by active resentment. It's about reclaiming resources from the past. He makes a really crucial distinction here.
Which is?
Forgiveness is a solo act. It's a decision you make inside your own heart to release the debt someone owes you. You do it for your own peace, to stop funding the past with today's energy.
Okay, forgiveness is solo. For my peace. But what about reconciliation? Getting back together, trusting again.
Reconciliation, he says, is a duet. It absolutely requires 2 people. And crucially, it requires changed, observable, consistent behavior over time from the other person. So you can absolutely forgive someone internally for yourself, release that burden, but still maintain strong boundaries. You might still require distance or need to see steady, changed action before reconciliation is even on the table. He puts it bluntly. Feelings can be flexible, but Boundaries belong in ink.
Boundaries belong in ink. That's clear.
Wow.
Okay, so for the final stretch here, let's talk about the systems for persistence. Because life will exert pressure on these 5 gears.
Inevitably.
We turn to prayer. How does he define prayer in this practical system?
As collaboration, partnership, not just sending requests up and hoping. He provides a simple cadence. PRAY.
PRAY, what does that stand for?
Pray starting with gratitude, perspective. Request specific, clear asks. Act. This is key. You pledge a specific action you will take related to the request. I will make that difficult call by noon. I will study this chapter for 60 minutes today. And finally, yield, trusting the timing and the outcome, letting go of the need to control everything.
So the act part makes it a partnership. It's not
Fine.
passive.
Exactly. Prayer is linked to your pledged action. He also recommends keeping an answer log. He calls it a humility ledger.
A humility ledger.
Yeah. To just briefly document the prayer request, the action you took, and then what actually happened. Was it yes, no, answer differently, still waiting? It combats forgetting, spiritual amnesia, and makes reliance a more concrete, documented habit rather than just vague superstition.
That's really practical. Okay, last piece. What about when a major blow lands? When the pressure is intense, how do we persevere then?
First, reframe it. Pressure isn't an interruption to the path. Often, pressure is the path. It's part of the process.
Okay.
And the tool for managing those inevitable setbacks, big or small, is the 24-hour rule.
The 24-hour rule, how does that work?
When a blow lands, a project fails, you get bad news. Whatever you give yourself 24 hours to just feel it. Acknowledge the disappointment, the frustration, the pain, but critically. No regret emails, no dramatic phone calls, no impulsive reactions during this window. Just feel.
Okay, feel first, then what?
Then, in the next 24 hours, you shift to learn. Run a quick 5-part review, maybe like the daily one, but focused. What are the facts? What were the likely causes? Were there any unexpected gains or positives, even small ones? What's the key lesson? And what's the very next small action?
Feel, then learn.
And finally, based on that learning, you act. Take the smallest possible visible step forward related to the situation within the next 48 hours. Just get back into motion, however small. This prevents the setback from spiraling into a full-blown identity crisis.
Feel, learn, act within those timeframes. That provides structure when things feel chaotic.
It does. And that learning phase, being objective enough to learn and keep going, that requires judging yourself fairly, especially on bad days. Which brings us to the final tool, the resilience scoreboard.
Resilience scoreboard. How do we score ourselves fairly when, say, the outcome was a disaster?
Simple. You don't judge the day primarily by the outcome. You judge it by the inputs.
By the inputs.
Yeah. Did I protect my action block today? Did I use the PRAY cadence when I felt overwhelmed? Did I handle that unexpected setback using the 24-hour rule? Did I do my nightly review?
So focus on what you controlled, your actions, your process.
Exactly. If you consistently hit your inputs, follow the system, even when external outcomes are unfavorable for a while, your confidence stays intact because it's based on your effort, not just the results. And usually the results eventually follow the consistent inputs. It shifts your focus from shaky external validation to solid internal control.
Wow. Okay. So this whole deep dive then, it really wasn't about chasing some fleeting burst of motivation or trying to become a whole new personality overnight.
No, not at all.
It was about understanding and adopting an architecture, a system for living that just keeps moving forward, building that quiet, steady confidence that compounds day by day.
Absolutely. And the real sign that the system is taking root, that it's genuinely working for you, it isn't necessarily when you hit all your huge goals overnight.
No. What is it then?
It's when your mouth and your schedule agree, as the author puts it. It's when you notice your tone of voice has improved, even under pressure, when your decisions feel clearer, less reactive. And maybe, just maybe, when the metaphorical room breathes easier when you're in it, because you carry a certain calm, a steady confidence. That kind of groundedness, that's transferable. That's leadership, in a way.
That's a fantastic summary. The goal is that quiet, steady confidence. The source material leaves us with this thought. A quiet, steady confidence is within reach. Not because life is easy, but because God is near, and because you now carry a way to live that works in weather.
Works in weather.
Yeah. So for you listening, the challenge isn't to implement this entire complex system by tomorrow morning. That's overwhelming. Instead, maybe choose just one of these small, repeatable practices. Just one. Perhaps next time a minor setback hits, try the 24-hour rule. Feel, learn, act. Or maybe before your next challenging meeting or task, consciously use the PRAY cadence. Phrase, request, act, yield. Pick one thing. Test its effect on your own inner weather for the next, say, 48 hours. See what happens. See what quiet, steady movement starts to emerge